Friends, throughout the world, strange and mysterious events have occurred that leave us astonished. Many such incidents have taken place in history that no one has been able to fully understand to this day. Even though science has advanced so much, there are still events that remain beyond our comprehension. One such mystery includes airplanes suddenly disappearing into thin air. History has recorded such unusual cases where planes vanished mid-air. For years, these planes were never found. It's still unclear whether the earth swallowed them or the sky. In this video, I will tell you about some such missing airplanes that will surely shock you. Recently, Malaysian Flight 370 disappeared in such a way that even after 3 years of intensive searching, the plane could not be found. It became the most expensive search operation in aviation history, involving 15 countries, but no concrete evidence was discovered, not even a single passenger's body. This incident became one of the most shocking events in aviation history. The Malaysian plane vanished in March 2014 while flying from Malaysia to China. According to investigators, the plane crashed at extremely high speed, but when, how, and where it remains a mystery. There were 239 passengers on board. After 3 years of continuous searching, some evidence was found, but nothing conclusive could confirm it belonged to that flight. Some debris similar to the plane was recovered, but even that could not be confirmed with certainty. Now let's talk about another case, a truly astonishing story. Before I begin, let me clarify that this incident was reported in newspapers at the time and was discussed for quite a while. I'm only narrating what was reported. I am not making anything up. You can even search about it on the internet. In 1992, a charter plane DC-4 landed at an airport in Caracas, Venezuela. It had 57 passengers on board. What's shocking is that this was the same aircraft that disappeared 37 years earlier in 1955 while flying from New York to Miami and was never found. What happened next is even more bizarre. Moments after landing, the aircraft took off again and was never seen again. The media covered this story extensively, but no one could explain how it happened. There's also an audio recording between the pilot and the control tower believed to be evidence of this event. Now, here's what allegedly happened. In 1955, a DC-4 aircraft, Flight 914, took off from New York, heading to Miami with 57 passengers. During its flight, it suddenly disappeared from the radar and was never found. Search operations were carried out, but due to limited technology at the time, efforts failed and it was assumed the plane had crashed into the ocean. Then, 37 years later, on March 22, 1992, something happened that's still hard to believe. That evening, an air traffic controller at Caracas Airport in Venezuela was performing his duties when suddenly he was contacted by a pilot on the radio. When the controller asked for details, the pilot didn't provide them immediately and instead asked, "Where are we?" The controller noted that the pilot's voice was full of fear. He said, "This is charter flight 914 with 57 passengers. We are flying from New York to Miami." Hearing this, the controller was stunned. Miami was 800 kilometers away. It seemed this plane had gone seriously off course, which could be extremely dangerous and possibly lead to a crash. The controller told the pilot, "This is Caracas, Venezuela. You strayed far from your path." There was silence for a few moments. Then the pilot asked, "Can I land this plane at Caracas Airport?" The controller granted permission to avoid any accident. The runway was cleared immediately. Within minutes, those in the control room saw an old aircraft approaching for landing like nothing they had ever seen before. Suddenly, the pilot contacted the tower again. The voices of the pilots inside the plane could be heard. They were talking amongst themselves, confused, asking, "What is this?" One pilot said that this flight was from New York and was scheduled to land in Miami at 9:55 a.m. On August 12, 1955, the traffic controller replied in disbelief, What are you talking about? This is 1992. The pilot shouted in shock, "Oh my God." The controller calmed him down and asked him to land the plane safely. The old aircraft landed. The control room informed the crew that help was being sent to assist them. The ground crew quickly approached the plane and boarded it. But as they moved toward the cockpit, the pilot shouted, "Stay away from us, we are leaving now." According to the crew, the passengers and pilots appeared very anxious and frightened. The pilot motioned them to stop approaching. He was visibly terrified. A calendar fell from the pilot's hand. One of the crew members picked it. It was a 1955 calendar. Shortly after, the plane took off again and was never seen again. Friends, as I said before, it's hard to believe this story, but it was reported in newspapers at the time and widely discussed. According to some air traffic controllers, there were witnesses to the event. Whether this incident is true or not, I cannot say with certainty. Now let's talk about a PIA aircraft that disappeared similarly and was never found. On August 25, 1989 at approximately 7:36 a.m., a PIA Fokker F-27 Flight 404 was flying from Gilgit to Islamabad. There were 49 passengers and 5 crew members on board. This was the same route where another PIA aircraft had recently crashed. The plane was scheduled to take off at 7:30 a.m. 4 minutes after takeoff, the pilots contacted the control tower. This is a routine call after takeoff. But that was the last contact from the pilot. After that, the plane disappeared from the radar and was never found. Pakistan Army conducted extensive search operations, especially around Nanga Parbat, one of the world's highest mountains, but not a single piece of debris was found. It's believed that the plane may have crashed into the snow-covered peaks and was lost forever. Friends, I hope you enjoyed this video and it increased your knowledge. To watch more such interesting videos, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. And don't forget to like this video. Take care. Bye.